This semester, my class had an assignment on the probability of surviving a zombie apocalypse. The RMIT assignment planner lays out the steps for doing an assignment. The first step is to analyse and brainstorm the question. I head to the RMIT Study and Learning Centre to find out how. The SLC has this drop-in service where teachers sit down and work with you on your assignments. They show me how to find the keywords and also how to brainstorm and organise my ideas. The library has these cool mini websites called subject guides. There's one for each subject area and they show you where to find the best information for you. I've got to plan my assignment next. With a detailed plan, I'll be able to make my argument clearly and without rambling. The SLC's Learning Lab is this massive online resource with tutorials and information sheets and loads of stuff about how to plan essays. I'm going to do the essay planning tutorial. The teacher at the SLC explains that planning is one of the simplest things you can do to improve your writing. If your lecturer or tutor knows where you're going and why, they'll appreciate your argument more. So I've analysed and brainstormed the question, gathered enough information to figure out my ideas, done an awesome plan, and I'm ready to start writing. To the library. I didn't actually realise that librarians are experts in finding information. You can use online chat with real librarians using the Ask a Librarian service, or even get answers via text message. Time to get writing. I've got my plan beside me, and I know I have to reference my work as I go along. The library has these really good referencing guides, so I just asked my lecturer which referencing style to use, then downloaded the guide. I've got my first draft done. Luckily, the assignment isn't due for a few days, so I've got time to edit it. I head back to the SLC's drop-in centre to get some expert advice on how to improve what I've written. The teacher says that editing your work thoroughly before you hand it in is really important for getting a good mark. So, once the SLC showed me how, I've spent the last 2 days making my argument clearer, my writing flow better, and getting rid of typos and errors. It feels amazing handing in my zombie essay. I know that I've done a great job. I'm pretty sure that armed with all this information, I'll be right to survive the invasion.